Hey, what's up? This is TJP, and you're listening to the 3 Count Podcast.
I knew that she raised one. All of your hate won't change now.
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. I'm running solo because, apparently the team just, they don't want to show up. And it is what it is with them. I'm not worried about them. It is whatever. But this is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring, which means that we have a special guest for you. You have seen this man on MCW. You've seen this man in ROH. You've seen this man in ACW here in Maryland. I'm so excited to bring on, and you can call him out too because he is a winner in everybody's book. Andy Win Vineberg, welcome to the show.
Hey, the winner's here. That's right, Red Dog. I got one question for you. You don't look sunburned to me. You don't look red. Why they call you Red Dog? Come on. What's the answer here?
I mean, my name's Clifford, and
Clifford, we're going to go with, call you the White Dog. How's that?
No, because
Cow Dog.
All right, I guess we'll have to take
We'll
it.
call you Cliff. Cliff, let me tell you something. I am the winner. The winner. That's what the W stands for, winning, because that's all I do in my life since the day I was born until today, and moving on to the future. All I do is win, win, win. Life is grand when you're the winner. Andy Weinberg.
Love it. Also, I see here that you are all over the place. Like, I feel like Hollywood is just loving your
Hollywood
presence.
is calling I'm like diarrhea. I am everywhere. Okay? You can find me in professional wrestling. You can find me in the movies. You can find me on podcasts. Andy Weinberg is everywhere that you look. Why? Because everybody wants to hear this voice. Everyone wants to see this great face. Everyone wants to see this beautiful smile. That's what winning is all about, and that's why I'm here today, and that's why you have some questions for yours truly, the great winner that I am, the manager of all managers, the greatest manager in independent wrestling today, the winner. What's up? What's your first question? Let's hear it.
Let's get started. Like, what's the hardest part about being in pro wrestling?
That's the first question you have for me.
This is the first question.
The hardest part about being in pro wrestling. It's a good question, I guess. The hardest part about being in professional wrestling is obviously the fact that you can get hurt. I don't care if you're a wrestler, if you're a manager, if you're not trained properly, then there are chances that you could legitimately get hurt. Now, I've been hurt before in professional wrestling. I've had a multitude of injuries. I don't wish them on anybody. But I will say this, professional wrestling is not for losers. Professional wrestling is not for the wusses. Professional wrestling is for the toughest men and women in the entire world. And what happens is, again, if they get trained properly, they can get into it. They can jumpstart their careers. They have to have a character, and they can go straight to the moon. And maybe one day be a winner.
I mean, yeah, I feel like everybody should be following.
Do you have a Red Dog at home?
I don't. Unfortunately, I have a.
Is your wife a dog?
No. She's
Does
not.
your wife cook?
Yeah, she cooks.
That's good. She belongs in the kitchen anyway, right? What does she cook well?
She makes this mean. She likes to do like a baked macaroni and cheese.
Is she with you right now?
No, she's currently in another room.
I would love to meet your wife, and I'd like to interview your wife and ask her. What do they call her?
Rebecca.
Okay. And you're the Red Dog.
Yeah, and I'm the Red Dog.
And the Red Dog. Okay, sounds like a winning couple right there. Go ahead.
Yeah. One time, she's definitely my better half. There's no doubt about that because I would.
There's definitely no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
I would just fall apart.
I can tell you that right now.
So, what kind of advice? Wait, say it again.
I hope she writes better questions than you do.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
You're doing a good job, Cliff. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what advice do you have for up-and-coming wrestlers or even managers that want to get into the business?
Number one advice is don't give up. It depends, set a goal for yourself, right? And be realistic. It's very hard to make it to the big time. There are some that obviously do. But, a lot of times when you have a family and you have a full-time job that maybe pays well, I encourage everyone to get a college degree. That's a big proponent of mine. It's something that I was the first in my family to attain. I'm certainly proud of doing so. So I tell everybody to have a backup plan. It's definitely difficult to make it to one of the big companies, and once you're there, it's also very difficult to maintain that spot for a long period of time. So I tell everybody to have a backup plan, but also if you're in the wrestling business, is to differentiate yourself from everybody else that's on the same card. You know, when the fans go back home at night, I hope that I can have the reputation saying he was a little bit different. He's a trip. He's a nut. He's a goof. That's who I am. I know that. That's the real Andy Weinberg. And I hope I have that that aura about me. So when the fans leave, they know exactly who they saw, and it's certainly memorable. So make sure you differentiate yourself, have a good gimmick, we'll call it, or just be an alter ego of yourself. And if you can do that, then you can win.
But every wrestler, every manager, every
Cliff, you
person,
froze.
I froze.
Cliff, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Cliff, I think you froze there for a second. I'm not sure if you paid your you're not sure if you paid your Wi-Fi bill this month.
Oh, I feel like, you know what? That might have happened.
Make sure Rebecca pays the bill, okay?
Yeah,
Make sure she pays the bill.
Yeah, she got to pay the bills. I gotta make sure.
Yeah,
I'll put a reminder in my
You
reminder.
gotta get on it. Yes, please do. Make sure you remind her. Tell her to get in the kitchen, get in the bed, and pay the bill.
Yeah, I will definitely make sure that gets across.
Okay.
So every wrestler, every manager, every person that's in the business has one of these, and I kind of want to know if you have one. Maybe you don't. I don't know. What has been your favorite fan interaction?
Oh, wow, I've had quite a few. My favorite fan interactions, I have a couple. The one time when I was in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, when I was just getting started in wrestling, when I said something very offensive to an audience. There was a woman in the audience and her husband in there in the front row, and I said, "That's quite a mustache you have there, sir." And I was talking to the female, obviously, and the husband came in the ring and attacked me. That was a good one. There's been other instances where I've been really jumped. I got kicked. I got bruised by fans. At MCW, there is a fan by the name, Lex Luthor. You know who Lex Luthor is, right? He's to Superman's.
Yeah.
Superman's the hero. I'm no hero. Believe me, I don't want people or kids looking up to me. I don't want any of these fans to look up to me because they'll never be me. They'll never be so lucky in life. I'm a smart guy that does things right. I'm very clean, conscientious. I wipe after a bowel movement, which a lot of fans do not. I use soap in showers. I use shampoo. I brush my teeth. And I have all my teeth still to this day. And there's a reason for that, because I am a little bit, the average wrestling fan doesn't have it. They don't have much even an IQ, to be honest with you. But myself, the question is interaction. I'm like the Lex Luthor. Okay. I want to be that bad guy. And then there's these fans that are the quote unquote good guy supporters. And there's one in particular named Bobby Harris. Okay. Now Bobby Harris is a fan that comes to MCW. Bobby Harris started calling me a Fruit Loop or Fruit Loopy Loop. Okay. And I hope Bobby Harris, make sure you tag him and find this guy. All right. We don't see eye to eye, Bobby Harris and I. Bobby Harris, I would love to see my King McBride or somebody give him the biggest choke slam in the world. Hello?
Yep, I got you.
You there? Yep. Yeah, you got to tell Rebecca to pay this bill, okay? Bobby Harris did this. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Bobby Harris, I'm sure he hijacked this just now. Bobby Harris is a guy that I rip up he gets under my skin like no other. And he comes to almost every event and I rip every one of his signs. I despise those signs. I despise being called a Fruit Loop, and it happens all the time. So there's many fans like this, okay? Go to West Virginia, I've been in Pennsylvania. There's these loser fans and they ruin it for me. So I've had many fan interactions throughout my time. I threatened to pop my tires once. I was fishing at one time, just trying to have a nice day by myself, trying to fish, try to catch some fish. And a family of 4 comes up, interrupts me and calls me a loser, that I'm nobody, that the things I did to Bruiser were horrible. And it ruined my whole day. I had to pack up and leave after 10 minutes. It was horrible. And that's the intelligence of fans is so low. And this is what I'm dealing with on a daily basis.
That's a damn shame. Especially ruin a good fishing trip.
Fishing trip, exactly. It's
Wait,
terrible.
did you just get started? Did you happen to catch anything? Like, how was that trip?
I hadn't even thrown my rod out at the time.
Oh, man. That's the worst.
Ruined my whole day.
That's the worst. I
I thank the Bruiser for that, and I thank the fans with this that are just the lowest of the low. And when I see these fans in person, they're like, "Hey, winner!" They're not winners. I don't like them. It's a true fact, Red Dog, and I don't know if you know this or not. You can look it up online. 99 points. It's now 99.6% of the population, okay, are losers in the world. 0.4% are winners. And I happen to be the leader of those 0.4%. So I'm certainly honored and pleased to be able to do such a thing. And I have a group of my army, my winners. They're awesome.
Oh, well.
I don't know if you'll get in.
Oh, well.
I can give you a shot.
Okay. I mean, I'll always take a shot to, try to show that I'm one of the best. But all right, yeah, cool. Yeah. Sounds like a fun group to be in. So, question for you now then. What's been one of the worst bumps you've ever taken?
Oh my gosh, I could hear all day talking about the worst bumps I've ever taken. I've gone through tables. Bruiser put me through the tables. That's if you ever watched the event, it's on my page right now, on my Facebook page, where I got thrown to a table and the table collapsed on my chest. I broke 2 ribs on that one. I've been through trash cans multiple times by multiple wrestlers. I've been this guy Hades, who's in MCW, he power slammed me in February of this year. The Red Scorpion in Pennsylvania. If you ever seen the Red Scorpion, he's this big, massive. He's got to be 280 pounds of just sheer muscle. He's a monster. He's power slammed me multiple. I've taken it off, getting hit by canes. You got to remember, I've been in wrestling since I was 14 years of age, not as a manager, but behind the scenes. But there's times when I actually went out and did things around the ring. And I can tell you that I've taken quite a bit of falls. I do CrossFit now on a regular basis. I can tell you the squatting, my knees are shot, back is shot, not because of my athletic ability, because quite frankly, I don't have much of that, but I do have a multitude of injuries that I've had through my wrestling career.
Dang, 14 years old. That's quite an accomplishment. I know a lot of people, like you said, you're a winner yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of people would have just quit after like 5 years. I've heard about people who quit after taking 1 bump. So, hey, for you, man.
It's losers, not for them. Wrestling isn't for everybody.
No, it's not for everybody.
No.
But yeah, I feel like if you've been watching wrestling as a kid, like I would expect you to like know what you're getting into. And if you don't,
your buddy there, Sickness. Sickened. Sickened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's beat me up a few times. What was his name before Sickened? I don't like Sick. I'm sick and tired of him. What was his name?
Skull.
I like that better. Skull had more women around him. That guy. Every time I saw that guy, he had another woman around him. I was like, how does this guy get all these women? What's his secret?
I don't know. He must be a winner.
No, he's not a winner. Because he can't keep them.
Oh. Oh, yeah. So we've talked about, the worst bump you've taken, advice you'd give to future wrestlers, hardest part about being in the pro wrestling business. I'm just curious, like, what's been the hardest that you've been hit? If you, being a winner, what's the hardest that you've been hit?
I've been hit with Singapore canes by the Sandman. That doesn't tickle. A couple of times. I had one time hitting me in my head. I bled pretty bad. I've been hit by guys like James Ellsworth. We had a match. You mentioned him before we started this podcast. And James, him and I actually had a match. And actually, I'm 1-0, just so you know, against James Ellsworth. former WWE star. The winner is just that, the winner, 1-0 versus Jim. So I know he wants a rematch. I beat Ruckus too. Ruckus was tough. If you know him. Ruckus, I pinned Ruckus. You can go to Ruckus. Yeah, I heard the winner pins you. He knows it. But I've been hit many times. Rikishi. I've been flown on by Lance Anoa'i. I've been punched by. I mean, there's so many people that are out there. But there's just one that I would say that really affected me the most. I'm going to have to go back to Bruiser. It's just that feud. I mean, he would lay it in, and I felt every inch of it, and it doesn't tickle, you know.
No, I can understand. I can understand that. I've had to win, and I'm like, we were talking before, like my career is pretty infant, and I took a good shot in the chest. All the air left my lungs. I hit the ground. Whatever was left in my lungs left. And yeah, I just remember just blinking the rest of the time. Like I was like, I'm
part of it, and I've been there too. You get knocked out, especially when that wind's taken out of you. You know, you get blown up and you're huffing and puffing, and you can't even believe what just happened to you. But you got to keep fighting through it if you want to do something and stay with it. It comes with the territory, so you got to deal with it. You got to stick with it.
Yep, and that's why I remember getting hit, and I was like, oh.
Who hit you?
Big Trouble Ben Bishop.
Well, okay, yeah, he's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Yeah, he hit me with a Polish hammer, and I felt like he broke my spine, and I lost all the air, and then I hit the ground, and I hit the rest of the air out, and I was like, where am I?
I know his probation officer, Pat, pretty well.
Okay. You have to.
I'm being serious. Don't laugh about that.
It's tough breaks.
You can tell Ben Andy knows his probation officer.
I'll let him know. So those are all like the big questions I have for you, but we do have the world famous 3-count podcast 10-count questions.
Oh, boy.
Here's how it works. We're going to ask you a bunch of questions rapid fire. So whatever comes off the dome first.
One word answers?
If you want it to be.
All right.
So we're going to put the imaginary timer on the clock. Bing! And here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
A SmackDown.
Favorite movie?
Slumdog Millionaire. Or anyone that I'm in with it. Any movie that I'm in. I'm in a lot of movies. You know that.
Yeah. I know. I saw your IMDb list. I'm
such a star. Thanks for the payday for doing this for you.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Make sure you PayPal me, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Right,
speaking of stars, Hogan or Rock?
Hogan.
Favorite actress?
Favorite actress? Oh gosh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna say favorite actress. Oh my gosh, Angelina Jolie.
Hey. Best comedian?
Best comedian, Howard Stern.
I like it. Favorite color?
Green, because it's the color of money.
Hey. Top MCU movie?
Every color is great, as you can see here. Rainbow color. Top what?
Top Marvel movie?
Top Marvel movie, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Okay. I like that one too. Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast, 3-count podcast now.
That's right. We didn't tell nobody nothing.
Yeah.
And then nominate one person that you would ask to be on this podcast.
Rebecca, your wife, because I have a lot of questions to ask her.
You know what? I'm going to take it. That's the first time anyone's mentioned that.
Rebecca, I got a lot of questions for Rebecca, but she's in the kitchen cooking where she should be, so it's okay.
So last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person that comes on this show, favorite curse word?
You know what's funny? I don't cuss. So this is interesting. That's a great question, but as a I don't drink and I don't cuss. Okay, there's 2 things I don't do in my life. And anybody that's met me knows today I'm 46 years old. 47 actually next week. But I've never had a drink of alcohol in my entire life. True story. Hand to God. Okay. I also don't cuss. I don't believe in it. I mean, I've used words before that I kind of wish I didn't, but I have and I'll take you back for a second. I'm a father. Okay. And I'm not going to sit here and tell my child not to cuss when I'm doing it myself. So I'm a strong believer in, and I don't cuss. So him and I have a deal. He's actually watching this right now. He's sitting in the other room watching me do this. and he knows that we have a deal that if any one of us cuss, that the other has to give the other $100. So lose $100, and I don't cuss. So I'll bring my son on for a second. Come here, Colin. Come here. I'll bring my son on. This kid doesn't cuss, never says a cuss word either. He's a great kid. He's the winning kid. Put up the W.
Hey.
All right. So bottom line is, if you meet me, I might say some horrible things to you, but you're not going to hear a cuss word out of my mouth.
Oh, much appreciated, and we will take that answer. No word. That's the word.
No word. That's the word. Exactly. The only cuss word I know is losing.
That's a pretty bad curse
That's
word.
a cuss word to me.
Yeah.
Loser, any of those forms. Lost. That's pretty much the closest thing to a curse word that will ever come out of my mouth, because I don't like using them. That's a horrible thing to do. It's a horrible thing to believe in. If you're going to do anything in life, be a winner. Forget the other stuff. It's a joke, you know?
So I tell people I don't lose. I just learn lessons.
You learn lessons, exactly. If you're with Sicken, you'll learn quite a bit of lessons. Make sure you learn a lesson, unlike Ben, who has a probation officer today.
I mean, he's learning a valuable lesson right now.
Yeah, you're learning a really valuable lesson. To make sure you wipe some stuff after a bowel movement.
But those are all the questions I have for you. So last thing for you, sir, can you let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you?
I can, like I said, I am everywhere. I'll be having some more movies coming out. You saw my, what's it called, IMDb list. I'm all over the place as far as movies are concerned. You can check me out on Facebook. Andy Win Vineberg with a V. You can find me there, friend me, tell me who you are. Also, I am the current host of, with everything happening right now in this current pandemic that we're in, I have found a couple places I'm appearing right now. One of them is 80s Wrestling. 80s Wrestling, if you go on Facebook, we get about 14 to 15,000 viewers at a time. And I am the host for the, when they bring the wrestlers in. So we've had Sergeant Slaughter last month, had Demolition last Monday, actually, a week ago today. I forgot the date, but I think it's December 18th, 19th, something like that. We have, maybe I'm like way off, but it's Bruce Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine. I know in January 11th is going to be the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, but I get the opportunity to host. I get to ask the questions that you want to know from these individuals. So you can definitely find me there. Also, PWE, The Battleground, is you can check that out on YouTube. I'm a strong part of that as well. I manage the heavyweight champion, Laszlo the Hun, the PWE champion. And then you can also find me, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff, but also anything MCW related. I'm usually there for that. But you can find me on social media, all the social media platforms, and you can find me winning, doing what I do best.
And there you have it. You have Andy, the winner, Vineberg, right there. So this is the 3 Count Podcast, presents Now Into the Ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, and as we said right at the beginning of the show, I was running solo, so it is what it is. But, guys, check out our next episode and be there, or
Who's going to be who's your co-host normally?
Lou the Franchise, actually.
Lou the Franchise. That's a real original name. And then here's another question: who's your guest next time?
Paragon.
Paragon. Oh yeah, Paragon. Sure, I've never heard of him. So, do me a favor. Stay in touch. Make sure you all look for me. I'm the winner. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate being on here today. I want to welcome all of you into the world of the Maryland professional wrestling and throughout the nation. And 3 Count Podcast is doing its thing. So keep winning. And thank you so much for giving the winner the opportunity to run his mouth tonight.
Oh, thank you again, sir.
Hello, 3 Count Podcast. If you enjoy what you're watching and you wouldn't mind going out your day to support us, go follow us on Twitter at 3count_pod, Instagram 3countpod, and if you want to look dripped out like your boy JJ, go to prowrestlingtees.com/the3countpod, and it's the number 3. Oh, and by the mention, we have a YouTube channel, so go check that out. The 3 Count Podcast with the number 3. JJ out.